Oh, we are live.
Sorry. I wasn't paying
That's all
attention.
right. That's okay. It's Friday.
I glanced away for a second, and then it said 2 seconds in. I was like, whoa.
Back on track. I am old new dude, and he is
Richard York, Asher's trueborn son, and
hey.
Lizzie is also on.
Hey. We appreciate it, Lizzie. I forgot what I was going to say. Game of Thrones, Catelyn 10. It's Friday.
And you
I
love this
apologize
chapter.
for Wednesday. That's things happened. I'm glad we got to at least do this chapter this week because I couldn't wait any longer to do this chapter.
Yeah.
I appreciate the patience. So if you watch any of these videos, you know that we start with the brains of the operation, which is Richard. He will say what he saw in the chapter, which is quite a lot. And I'll jump in with my stupid stuff every now and then, and hopefully you get a chuckle out of it. So take it away, Richard.
Thank you, sir. Casey was just telling me before we went live how much he loves this chapter, and I was saying this is probably, actually, I described this chapter as a battle with the most blatant symbolic clue in the series. The woods were full of whispers. Moonlight winked on the tumbling waters of the stream below as it wound its rocky way along the floor of the valley. Beneath the trees, warhorses whickered softly and pawed at the moist, leafy ground, while men made nervous jests in hushed voices. Now and again she heard the chink of spears, the faint metallic slither of chainmail, but even those sounds were muffled. So this moonlight will give us the traditional classic moonlight symbolism, purification and revealing the true self. Also, the whispers remind me of Brienne, right? Anyway. Brandon Stark had bid her wait as well. I shall not be long, my lady, he had vowed. We will be wed on my return. Yet when the day came at last, it was his brother Eddard who stood beside her in the sept. Ned had lingered scarcely a fortnight with his new bride before he too had ridden off to war with promises on his lips. At least he had left her with more than words. He had given her a son. 9 moons had waxed and waned, and Robin had been born in Riverrun while his father still warred in the south. She had brought him forth in blood and pain, not knowing whether Ned would ever see him. Her son. He'd been so small. So it doesn't say their son. It says her son that Ned had given her. So this is ambiguous, but Robb is promoted to a highborn son by the marriage. But 9 moons from when exactly? It's deliberately ambiguous.
Yes. Also, if you catch the very last words, he had been so small. So if 7 months after the wedding, she'd have gave birth to Robb, they would have just thought, oh, he's premature. He's early. That's why he's so little. And it's you have the ability to hide. What'd you say?
First Lady of Thistles here. She says, oh, yes, this chapter's incredible, a masterpiece. Then Lizzie says, secret York bastards. Oops, I mean Stark.
There you go. But the small baby, I appreciate that, Lizzie. And I know Richard definitely does.
Oh, absolutely.
But the size of Robb can hide when he was born.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He could be fathered by Brandon.
Right.
A month later, she marries Ned. 2 months later, she marries Ned. He's born 9 months later from the time Robb made him, or Brandon made him. But everybody sees that Ned is married to Cat, and then this small child is born through blood and grief, meaning she had a bad pregnancy, and they could be like, oh, he just came early. And it would hide the fact that he is Robb's son.
Sure. Brandon's BS.
Yeah, Brandon, sorry.
No, that's right. His armor clinked softly when he moved. Only his head was bare. So there's a choice to go without a helm, at least for Robb, is to be recognizable and inspiring to his men. Perhaps the same is true for Jaime, although Robb will wear a helm here later, but Jaime will not be wearing a helm. Anyway. Let him grow taller, she asked the gods. Let him know 16 and 20 and 50. Let him grow as tall as his father and hold his own son in his arms. Please, please, please. As she watched him, this tall young man with a new beard and the direwolf prowling at his heels, all she could see was the babe that had laid at her breast at Riverrun so long ago. So all the best videos on Robb's parentage, such as Teflon TV and Septishana's Secrets, point out that 16, 20, and 50 are ages that are associated with Brandon and Rickard and not with with Eddard.
Now I understand the 20 and the 50, but wouldn't the 16 be Ned?
No, I think they were saying that was that was when they had first been betrothed or something. I don't know. I don't really remember all the
Okay.
details.
Well, I mean,
Let me
there's
go back
more
and
there
read
than
that.
that. Anyways, you got the let him grow as tall as his father. Tall fathers, tall. And
Right.
Ned's never really called tall.
No, in fact, she points out that he's not tall, right?
Yes,
And
he's
so
the
wanting
shorter
to grow as
brother
tall as
of
his
Brandon.
father seemed
So
to
you got
imply.
the
Yep.
so you got as tall as his father, and also uh, and hold his own son in his arms, which is something Brandon wasn't able to do.
Right.
So with your what's coming up here later that you're so blatant about on this
Right. This
chapter.
is what these are two of the best clues for Rob. Yeah, you're right. Right.
Yes.
In addition to being the other clue that I like so much, yes,
I
this is
know.
good.
I
Better
got
clue for
goosebumps
Rob.
talking about it, man. Ah,
The Kingslayer has us 3-1, said Galbert Glover. True enough, Sir Brendan said. Yet there is one thing Sir Jamie lacks. Yes, Rob asked. Patience. So, Jamie's lack of patience is mentioned many times in this chapter, and it's also mentioned throughout the books that he's sort of known as a hothead. I think he's certainly learning and becoming a better person later on in the story, but at this point, he's definitely a hothead, right? This is after all the guy who murdered Jory. At this point,
right. He's got to make his mistakes and tumble off of his tower before things start changing for him.
right, right. Oliver Frey held his horse for him, Lord Walter's son, 2 years older than Rob, and 10 years younger and more anxious. He strapped Rob's shield in place and handed up his helm. When he lorded over the face she loved so well, a tall young knight sat on his grey stallion where her son had been. It was dark among the trees, where the moon did not reach. When Rob turned his head to look at her, she could see only black inside his visor. I must ride down the line, mother, he told her. Father says you should let the men see you before battle. Go then, she said. Let them see you. It will give them courage, Rob said. And who will give me courage, she wondered, as she kept her silence and made herself smile for him. So we've discussed Oliver as the potential Rosby ward and heir a few times. Rob does put on his helm before the battle, despite the need for his men to see him. I think he's pretty recognizable.
Right. You also get that same line that when she looked in the eye slits, it's all she saw was black.
Yeah,
You get that
yeah,
with
and that's part of where you get the theory that maybe Rob's head is on Gregor and so forth that some people like.
or that later Rob loses his head
Right.
and gets Greywind on there. And then
Right.
I mean,
right.
there's a lot of head.
That the two refer to each other in a way, right? That it's supposed to be a parallel, and so his being black is supposed to be a parallel to Gregor and Bran's vision.
Yeah.
One of his companions was even a woman, Daisy Mormont, Lady Mage's eldest daughter and heir to Bear Island, a lanky 6-footer who had been given a morning star at an age when most girls were given dolls. Some of the other lords muttered about that, but Catelyn would not listen to their complaints. Mm-hmm. As we've discussed previously, this is a story about female equality and patriarchy. See, Trim the Targaryens, episode 1.
You got like what, 6 or 7 of nods in this thing? I counted them last night, and I forgot what I did with the number.
Yeah, I should have figured out when I really talk about Rob's parentage. I just briefly mentioned that it's a theory that Tony Teflon goes into and so forth, and Bartube. A bird called faintly in the distance, a high, sharp trill that felt like an icy hand on Catelyn's neck. Another bird answered. A third, a fourth. She knew their call well enough from her years at Winterfell. Snow shrikes. Sometimes you saw them in the deep of winter when the godswood was white and still. They were northern birds. Northern birds representing the old gods. And Lizzie says, Mormont women! We all know who their father is.
Giant Bane. on the snowbirds, you would think if there's someone going to watch, they would use ravens or crows.
Yep.
The fact that it is a R. The fact that it is because I mean sometimes you saw them in the deep of winter. So I mean they were a rarity to see, I guess.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? They're all the way down south here. And
that tells me that somebody somebody winter related is using the birds.
Yeah.
And then when you get the other birds like crows and stuff like that, that's the other person using birds. So they're using
But
two different type of birds to watch what's going on. So I just think that it shows there's got to be two different people because they're using two different avenues.
And mostly it shows that George wanted some additional symbolism here of the North.
What's the latest thing to say?
Well, first we got R&D, Lady Thistle, and we get, yeah, I assume this is them calling the people. They chose a bird that wouldn't actually be calling in the woods. Smart. Oh. Oh, she's not thinking of birds at all. Her argument is that the bird calls known to Starks, to Northerners, would be, it's a brilliant idea. If you were trying to imitate birds, the ones you would know would be the ones that were in your region, not the ones in their region. Yes, Lady Thistle, I love it. She says it's their signal. I love that. I love that. That makes so much sense.
I know. Even Lizzie says damn.
Mind blown.
I'm telling you. Oh my goodness.
Brilliant.
That gave me goosebumps too.
Oh yeah. Brilliant. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh man, that is top notch.
All right, let's do this. It's time for my favorite, most blatant symbolic clue in all of A Song of Ice and Fire. Even at a distance, Sir Jaime Lannister was unmistakable. The moonlight had silvered his armor and the gold of his hair and turned his crimson cloak to black. He was not wearing a helm. So, this is the most blatant symbolic clue in all of the series, probably slightly surpassing the similar clue that Val is half Stark and half Targaryen. Jaime has silver and gold hair with a red and black cloak. For more on Jaime and Targaryen symbolism, see Triplet Targaryens Episode 5. For a very similar clue about Val as both Targaryen and the Maid of Winter with stark gray eyes, see Triplet Targaryens Episode 7.
That's 3 of them.
Your phone is really doing weird things with your brightness.
I'm going to have to play with it. I think it's me getting closer.
Oh, it could be.
Yeah, sometimes it's the hat that throws it off, too. I try to stay away.
Oh.
Yeah, that's definitely the strongest indicator that Targaryen.
One of the things about that episode that I go into is how George has deliberately misled people with the language to make them think that the history doesn't work when it actually does, right?
Yeah.
Others came behind him, long columns of them, knights and sworn swords and free riders, 3/4 of the Lannister horse. So others are usually those sworn to serve, surrendering some of their free will, which makes me wonder if the others serve some sort of great other, right? So we've mentioned impatience before, so here we go again. He is no man for sitting in a tent while his carpenters build siege towers, Sir Brendan had promised. He's ridden out with his knights thrice already to chase down raiders or storm a stubborn holdfast. Nodding, Rob had studied the map her uncle had drawn him. Ned had taught him to read maps. Raid him here, he said, pointing. A few hundred men, no more. Tully banners. When he comes after you, we will be waiting. His finger moved an inch to the left. Here. They were in a long line, an endless line. As they burst from the wood, there was an instant, the smallest part of a heartbeat, when all Catelyn saw was the moonlight on the points of their lances, as if 1,000 will-o-wisps were coming down the ridge, wreathed in silver flame. I'm not certain what to make of this symbolism. LOL would probably say meteors.
Lady Thistle, I want to say it was either last book club or the book club before that, had mentioned something about the dew on the ground. Was it representing diamonds or?
Yeah, no, we talked about that one in the last chapter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. I get confused on some of this stuff. Sorry.
That's all right. The ridges seemed to play queer tricks with sound. Once she heard Rob's voice as clear as if he'd been standing at her side, calling, "To me, to me!" And she heard his direwolf snarling and growling, heard the snap of those long teeth, the tearing of flesh, shrieks of fear and pain from man and horse alike. Was there only one wolf? It was hard to be certain. Little by little, the sounds dwindled and died, until at last there was only the wolf. As the red dawn broke in the east, Greywind began to howl again. There's some interesting perception issues here probably just symbolizing the chaos of war.
Well, this is after she closes her eyes, and then boom, she's in the thick of it. I say it might be a nod to some skin change.
Oh yeah, she has to have some magic genes, right? Given that
Right.
all of her
That it
kids
was
do.
actually, I forget who did it because I forgot who did it. Somebody was saying that the actual stronger magic blood was on Catelyn's side. Um,
Could be.
but I say that she either, because you got all the was there only one wolf? I say Nymeria was there with her wolf pack. Could Lady Cat have skin changed Nymeria, which might not be because she's bonded
Oh,
with.
there really is more than one wolf here. Oh,
Right.
I was wondering about that. Like, why is he asking if there's more than one wolf here? But there actually could be two wolves here. That's a really good point. There probably are.
Well, I mean, chances are by now, Nymeria has a small pack with her also.
And we had that hint in the previous chapter.
Yep.
That was another thing. The previous chapter, I was kind of breezed over that, but it was Tyrion implied that there would be multiple wolves with Robb.
Right.
And so here we are in the Riverlands. Wow.
What you say, Lizzie?
Well, you heard Lancel. He explained clearly that they were all wargs. Robb changed them with a bite. Duh.
I was just reading the Tyrion chapter when getting ready for tonight's book club, where he breaks down Lancel with the sleeping with Cersei. So I feel so sorry for that boy.
Yeah. All right. Wow. It's a really good idea that the Nymeria could be there.
I have my moments.
I would offer you my sword, but I seem to have mislaid it. It's not your sword I want, sir, she told him. Give me my father and my brother Edmure. Give me my daughters. Give me my lord husband. I've misled them as well, I fear. A pity, Catelyn said coldly. Kill him, Robb, Theon Greyjoy urged. Take his head off. So Theon might be even more of a hothead than Jaime.
Yeah, that's true.
We have won a battle, not a war. But such a battle, said Theon Greyjoy eagerly. My lady, the realm has not seen such a victory since the Field of Fire. I vow the Lannisters lost 10 men for every one of ours that fell. We've taken close to 100 knights captive and a dozen lords bannermen. Lord Westerling, Lord Banifort, Sir Garth Greenfield, Lord Estrin, Sir Titos Brax, Malor the Dornishman, and 3 Lannisters besides Jaime. Lord Tywin's own nephews, 2 of his sister's sons, and 1 of his dead brothers. And Lord Tywin? Catelyn interrupted. Have you perchance taken Lord Tywin, Theon? No, Greyjoy answered, brought up short. Until you do, this war is far from done. Robb raised his head and pushed his hair back out of his eyes. My mother is right. We still have River Run. Robb wins great battles, but he loses the war.
Yeah.
And up next for us is going to be Chapter 68, Daenerys 8, Only Death Can Pay for Life. Featuring wolf symbolism. See Triplet Targaryens, episode 4.
Is that 4 or 5 that you got in there?
I don't know.
Lizzie loves George R. R. Martin playing with the werewolf trope like that.
Yeah, biting people, Robb biting them all and turning them all into wargs is playing with the werewolf idea, right?
Yeah. That's my phone going off. It's the wife. I'm not going to hang up, but I'm not going to answer. Hopefully the car's working.
500.
It was 5. Yep, she figured it out. Yeah, she knows when we do these.
That's 5. Okay.
Yeah, I've been counting them. I know I wrote it down last night.
All right. Fair enough.
That's pretty good. I think it's the most you've ever gotten in on one video.
Man, we breezed through this. We're only 20 minutes into the live stream.
We got so excited about some of the stuff that was in here, man.
This is great observations, just live here and from our
Lady Tinsel blew my mind away,
and from you and yeah, there's some great stuff in here.
Yeah, it's a really good chapter. It covers a lot of territory on where it goes in the chapter on some of the things. I didn't have a whole lot just other than that. Anything you want to talk about before the weekend?
Oh, I don't know.
Lady Thistle, Lizzie.
I mean, we could always go over, all these things. You know what? I mentioned Varys last episode, and I didn't mention Dorcas.
Ah, such a
It's such a
beautiful
beautiful
chapter.
chapter,
Kills every time.
killed every time. Lady, this is all. It's even lots of time to own.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that signal idea. That is brilliant. It makes perfect sense. If the birds you hear aren't native to the area, then your attempt to imitate a bird call isn't going to sound like the birds that are native to the area. I love it.
It never dawned on me, man. I swear. I was sitting there hook, line, and sinker, believing it that this is snowbirds
Yeah,
and
that
what
makes
the
much more sense.
symbolism of having the birds watching all this stuff. I went down the rabbit hole with it, and Lady Thistle just brought us right back real quick.
It's supposed to be mind hole blown.
Oh goodness. Oh man, that was quick.
Oh man. Well, next up we do have only death can pay for life, and I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure. Yes. Poor Dorcas, is up to her to lace up the queen, right? Lately, that's a tough job. Yeah. I can't believe I mentioned I mentioned Varys last episode. I mentioned Dorcas, or without
I didn't catch
referring
it.
to him as
Usually,
Dorcas.
yeah, usually you call him Dorcas instead of Eric.
Yeah. I'll try and be better.
That's all right. Liz will keep you straight.
Lady Thistle says mind hole own equals I have mind control powers. Evil laugh.
Oh, speaking of evil laughs, that one what'd you say, Lizzie?
I like that one even better, Lady Thistle.
When I did that with Nettles, the girl Nettles, I was the judge on the debate. One of the comments was I had an evil laugh. And I'm like, I ain't never thought of myself having an evil laugh.
Let me hear your best.
No, it's just my normal.
Oh, I can kind of see that. All right. I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it. If I'm, now that somebody's put it in those terms, yeah, okay.
Well, I want to say this was around the sick time too, so my voice was a little bit raspier and deeper.
I agree with Lady. With Lizzie, that's a good quality.
Yeah, I love laughing. There's too much to not laugh about in the world today, and anytime that we can get a good laugh in is a good thing.
Yeah, Lady Thistle agrees that now that we hear you do the laugh, knowing that somebody perceived it as an evil laugh, we can see it.
Every time I laugh now, I will be thinking about that. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, we wouldn't have thought of it, but
yeah.
now that you
got the whole weekend to forget. Come Monday, maybe you won't notice it no more.
Could be. So I know the first time I'm pretty freaking sure that the first time I read this next chapter with Danny that I knew what the price was, and I felt like Danny might that it should be obvious to Danny what the price was.
I might have to read it again.
The point is, later on, and not in this next chapter, but in the one after that,
right.
Mary Mesder is going to say, "You knew what the price was," right? And my point is, I'm pretty freaking sure that the first time I read the chapter, I knew what the price was.
Okay, I'll try to see if I can see it through your eyes. Because
you saw the show before you read the book, right?
Well, no. I started I actually watched season 1 before I read the book.
Yeah. So you did know what was happening,
right? But I mean, I'm really good. It's like with that judge thing, because it was comparing
put your head in the place of what would I think if I was reading this naively, what would I think?
Right.
And my point is, I think that that the reader and Danny know what the price is. I do.
I'm really good of taking myself out of the chapter that I'm reading. And
Now you
one of
do
the
get
good things
fooled.
that,
You do
but
get fooled into thinking that it might be the horse later. Right. That's what. So she may have been fooled into believing what she wanted to believe. Right.
right,
Um, the 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 incredibly heavy-handed right-wing propaganda book, Wizard's First Rule, would say people believe what they want to believe or what they fear might be true.
yeah. Lizzie says willful blindness.
Yeah. Well, once you see it as an option, I think it's easy to say, oh, it might just be the horse.
And then what does the lady say? Lady
Oh
Thistle?
yeah, Lady Thistle says this isn't a matter of golden horses. Yeah, yeah. So she implies that the horse is not the price before implying that the horse is the price.
Lady Thistle's on fire today, I'll tell you.
Yep, yep. That is
Well,
great.
she's always on fire. She
Well,
is the voice of reason in the book club, without a doubt. So I definitely appreciate her being there and her asking me to join.
all right. I think that's probably enough.
We're close to the. I gotta find out what my wife called for. Hopefully,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
the
We got
car.
better let you get to her.
No, I mean, she can wait. No, I say that because she's not here. All right, next is
Oh,
Daenerys.
oh. Do notice the shirt I wore for this one?
Direwolf City.
Yeah, because Gray is Gray has videos on Jamie Targaryen.
Yeah.
She's a big Jamie Targaryen proponent.
Oh yeah. Well, on Fridays we try to tell everybody to have a safe and well, this time of year jolly weekend. Oh, thanks everyone. Hope you have a great weekend.
Somewhere your wife is watching this and plotting her revenge.
She doesn't watch this. I'm pretty safe. Once I'm in my little man cave, well, half pantry, whatever you want to call it. I'm on. It's like Switzerland. I'm on neutral ground in here. I can get away with a lot of stuff. But yeah, I appreciate it, Lizzie. We always try to get everybody to have a great weekend. Lady Thistle, stay healthy. Yeah,
Yeah,
my track record here lately has been kind of rough here at the house. But we appreciate it. We will see y'all Monday with Daenerys. What is it? Daenerys 8. Daenerys 8. Have a good weekend, Lady Thistle and Lizzie. We appreciate y'all joining us.
absolutely.
And
It's been great.
it makes it a whole lot more fun for me and Richard, for sure.
Well, especially when your guys are piping in with such great stuff.
Yeah, no, it's still. I mean, I get every time we do a video, I get goosebumps. But today, Lady Thistle gave me goosebumps and a blown head. To mess up my hat. But we will see y'all Monday, 12 o'clock Eastern time, and have a good weekend.
You too.
I'll see you tonight, Lady Thistle on Book Club. Have a good one. Bye.